Greetings everybody out there in YouTube land. Richard Fulmer here and welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles. So we can have another look at an album that's just turned 50 in 2023. And this time around it's an American band. Started way back in 1968-69. Still going today, but without their main songwriter and for me the main guy in the band. Who am I waffling on about? Grand Funk Railroad, or as they're now known, Grand Funk. In fact, they were known just as Grand Funk from this album onwards, the one that I'm going to chat about, and that being We're an American Band. So this will be a Grand Funk that's very different to the early stuff with more power trio. I personally prefer the earlier albums, very raw, very in your face. This was a very different direction for the band, but they wanted to try and crack the commercial hard rock market. And they got a producer in who actually did a really good job for them on this album in particular. In fact, the one after this one, Shining On, All the Girls in the World Be Fair, All the Girls in the World Beware, Be Fair, well that too I guess, Born to Die, and then the last one, Good Singing, Good Playing. Todd Rundgren was involved with I think this one and the one afterwards. Very different sounding, like I said. So who was in the band? Well, Mark Farner was still there on guitar and vocals. Played a bit of keyboards as well. Don Brewer on vocals and drums. Excellent drummer. Mel Schacher on bass, or Schacher. I'm not sure how you say his surname. I think it's Schacher. And Craig Frost on keyboards. Now, Craig Frost appeared on the previous album, the one at the back there, you can see over there. And that one was called Phoenix. But on that album, he was just a sort of a special guest. On We're an American Band, he was a fully fledged, paid up member of the band, if you like. So the album came out and was released on July the 15th, 1973. All those years ago. So I've got three different versions here. One which is from 2002, I think, and 1999. And then this is the original from 1973, the vinyl. And this I bought at a store which no longer exists, Musica the Link, Claremont. You can see the sticker over there. I actually think I worked at that branch for a while, but yeah, that many years ago. So let's see what else I can show you here. There's the guys. Not the most flattering of photographs, if you ask me. I think they could have done a little better, but there's a whole bunch of American flags. We're an American band, I guess. There's Mel Schacher, Craig Frost at the top. There's Mark Farner. And the guy with the afro there is Don Brewer. And that's the other half of the gatefold sleeve. I think when this came out originally, there were two little stickers inside here that was the same design as that. And somewhere along the way I lost them or I stuck them on something many years ago. Who knows? So what are the songs on here? On side one, We're an American Band. That was the big hit. The title track from this album. It starts out with that infamous cowbell sound from Don Brewer, excuse me. So that was a pretty big hit for them. I did pretty well on the charts. And of the second part of their career, if you like, I think that was probably one of the bigger hits. Then you had Stop Looking Back, which had some really nice keyboard work from Craig Frost. Great organist, keyboardist. Not so much in the synthesizer. I think that was still to come in years, in later years. But they didn't have much in the, it was mostly organ and piano. Then a track called Creeping, which is also cool, and Black Licorice. That's another track which I really enjoy. After this album, they went on a massive tour. I think maybe after Shining On as well, a big 1975 tour, and a lot of these tracks would feature in their concerts. Black Licorice, the one I've just mentioned, that would appear as well live. Then there's a track called The Railroad, which is all about working on the railroad and, you know, kind of ties in with the name of the band. And Got Nobody. And the other big hit from the album, Walk Like a Man. And I think that also got into the charts. The early albums, if you listen to this and you listen to the early stuff, it's a very different animal, very different Grand Funk. And then there's a sort of a Red Indian song, or paying homage to the Red Indians, called Loneliest Rider, and that's the last track. So Mark Farner's on your vocals, guitar, acoustic guitar, electric piano, and congas. So he also played a bit of piano. Don Brewer, vocals, drums and percussion, Mel Shacher on bass, Craig Frost, organ, clavinet, electric piano, and Moog synthesizer. So there was a synthesizer on here, Moog synthesizer. There was sort of the beginning of that. Produced by Todd Rundgren. Really good production on this album. Good sound. And yeah, I'm glad I've still got my vinyl. Very hot here today. And the month of February in Cape Town is usually the hottest. So let me just show you the other two versions that I've got. This is a 1999 remastered version. And this was released by Capitol Records, which was part of EMI. No bonus tracks on this one. And it's pretty much the same as the vinyl that I've just shown you. Pretty much the same thing there. That photograph doesn't tell you anything extra. Like I said, no bonus tracks. And the CD comes in a little sleeve like that. And that just pops in there. So that was the second version I got of this. And then in 2002, the entire discography of Grand Funk was re-released by EMI, all remastered. It was actually called the Grand Funk Remasters. So there we go. I don't know what's happened to the color there on that. You can see, sorry for the glare. See, it says remasters down the side there. And here you've got 4 bonus tracks. Hooray, which is it's an okay track. The End. And then there's an acoustic mix of Stop Looking Back, which is the second track on the album. And a 2002 remix of the title track, We're an American Band, which is quite cool. You know, sometimes you buy these bonus things and they're not that great, but some of these are okay. Previously unreleased, like I said, all tracks 24-bit digitally remastered, and the sound is really good on here. There's the CD again. There's that finger pointing, Grand Funk. That's the We're an American Band music sheet, or charts as they call them. And let me see if there's anything I can show you in the inside. There's the whole story of how the album came about and changes within the band. Craig Frost joining the band permanently, going on their big tours. Tells you a bit more. It's quite a big story. And there's a cool live shot of the guys. Mark Farner in the front there. For me, he was the integral part of Grand Funk, and he's no longer in the band. For me, it's not Grand Funk anymore. That's just my personal thing. And that's Don Brewer there on the drums. And Mel Shacher and Craig Frost, you can't really see very well on that photograph. And then they just give you the songs and who wrote the songs, and then there's all the bonus tracks on here, and when it was recorded June 1973, hooray. It was originally released on the 30 Years of Funk box set. So they've taken these bonus tracks from a box set and just slapped it on these CDs, which is okay. Mark Farner, blah blah blah. Yeah, I've told you all about that. And there's another cool shot of all 4 guys in the band. That's Mel Shacher there. He also had a kind of an afro in the early days. I think this is a pretty old shot actually. There's Mark Farner, Don Brewer. So they were the original trio. And then there's Craig Frost. Craig Frost, after he left Grand Funk, went to go play with Bob Seger. In fact, he appeared on a few albums by Bob Seger. And in fact, I think he may have been with him right up until the end, because I think Bob Seger did a farewell tour recently, last year or maybe this year, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's what he did. And of course, he also was part of the band Flint when Grand Funk broke up in '76. Don Brewer, Mel Shacher, and Craig Frost formed that very short-lived band called Flint. 1 album, one and done. And Mark Farner released a few solo albums. Then he went into gospel music. So their paths went, in different directions. Grand Funk is still going today with Mel Shacher and Don Brewer from the original band. And I think the guy from Kiss, Bruce Kulick, he's on guitar. And then there's a couple of other guys as well in the band. So they're still touring, but they haven't recorded anything since, I think, the 80s. So there we go. Grand Funk. We're an American Band. Like I said, very different to the early stuff, but well worth checking out. There's some good rockers on there, some sort of mid-paced, a lot of melody, obviously made for commercial markets, so it's a lot more accessible. Some of the early stuff may not have been, but one to check out. I'll catch you guys again soon for another 50-year-old Have yourselves a great week. If you haven't yet, please down below subscribe, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Any comments, more than welcome. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.